Okay, so we're going to start on our back this morning. Seems like a good plan, and quite often when we have issues in the hips and the back, it's a great plan to start on our backs. So let's go ahead and come on down. It would be helpful for you to have a strap nearby, but we don't need it quite yet. So come on down, take your arms out into a T position, and take your feet about as wide as your mat. And just let your knees rest against one another. So you've come into kind of a constructive rest position here. And then with the legs in this position, we're just going to tilt the pelvis a little bit using the rocking breath. So as you inhale, push the sitting bones down and give your low back a little deeper arch. Let your belly fill up as much as you can. And then exhale. You're going to pull the lower back down toward the mat, engage your lower abdomen and pull up in your lower belly so you get a little bit more pressure onto the floor and to the back. Then inhale and reverse it. Push the sitting bones down. Fill up the belly, the low ribs, the chest with your breath. And exhale. Pull the belly in and up, bringing the back closer to the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, we'll keep going with this. Just a couple more breaths. Inhaling, arching the back. Bring in the breath. And exhale. Contract the abdomen, push the back into the floor. And then go ahead and release all of that. Breathe normally. And then keeping the feet wide, we'll just do some windshield wipers now. So drop the knees over to the right, turn your head to the left. And then really fluidly, we'll just move through a number of these. So dropping then the knees to the left, head to the right. See if you can coordinate this with your breath. So the inhale brings the legs up. The exhale drops the legs to the side. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can. If it doesn't work, you can breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Next time that your knees are in the opposite direction of how they were when you started, then let that be your last one, and then come on back to center. Okay, so just pull the knees up towards your shoulders a little bit. Make sure the knees are wide so they're coming up more toward the armpits or the outer ribs, and then just let yourself roll a little bit on your back. A little gentle back massage here. Okay, now keep a hold of your right knee and take your left leg down to the floor. And then just move your right leg around in a circle. And a little range of motion there. And then drop the right knee out to the right. Try to do this without ungrounding your left leg. So try to keep that left leg as firmly rooted as you can as you open the right leg out to the right. And then cross the right leg through center. Roll onto that left hip as you cross the right leg over. Try to keep your right shoulder blade on the floor. Getting a nice bit of a twist here. And then back to center. Pull that left knee in, take your right leg down. And we'll make some circles with that right leg. You just lightly hold your knee as you move that leg around. Getting a little bit of lubrication in that hip joint. I don't know about you all, but boy, I was a little bit sore after Tuesday's class. I think some of that hip work was kind of got in there. Whenever we do hip mobility work, it really talks to me. All right, let's drop that left leg out to the left. Do your best to keep your right leg grounded as you do that, so you're not tipping over and then lifting yourself up on the right side. I'm just working with this bit of stretch through that inner left leg, and however it feels to be opening the leg out on the outer hip as well. Then bring your left leg to center. Switch your hands, roll over onto the right hip, taking your left leg to the right. Still with a bent knee. Oh, I got a little bonus pop in my back just then. Hope you guys get some free chiropractic out of this too. Breathing. Back to center. All right, now let's grab the strap. Would also behoove you to have a block nearby. So let's just take the right foot up in the strap to start. Left leg down to the floor. Oh, there's the hamstrings. I remember those. So just push your foot gently forward and out against the strap as your hands pull back on the strap, and you feel a little bit of a little stretch there for your hamstrings. Keep breathing with it. You don't have to have the leg completely static. You could move it just a little bit. All right, now turn your right foot to the right. So externally rotate your leg. You're not taking the leg out. You're just simply turning the foot. And the whole leg, all the way up into the femur, rotates out. Right, so go there. And then rotate in, and rotate out, and rotate in, rotate out. See if you notice if there's one way in particular that this feels more challenging, rotating in or out. Just keep it going. One or two more times. Okay. And then taking both straps into the right hand, open the leg out to the right. Now we're taking that stretch a little deeper to that inner leg, into the hamstrings. You can have as long a rein on the strap or short a rein as you'd like. We're still kind of warming up here. So don't try to go to the fullest expression of the pose. And then go ahead and bring that right leg back to center. Both straps in the left hand and cross the right leg over. Try to keep the shoulder blades on the floor and only take the leg over to the place where you're feeling, oh, that feels good. That's a nice stretch. So maybe you're feeling up into the IT band, the glutes, stretching. My glutes are feeling it after that Tuesday class. So that feels like a really nice stretch for my glutes. We all are in different places in our bodies, so you might be feeling it someplace else. You might be feeling it in that inner right thigh. You might be feeling more hamstring. All right, let's bring that right leg back to center. Go ahead and step into the strap with your left foot. Take your right leg down. With one strap in each hand, just gently press the left foot forward and out against the strap. As you try to bring the foot a little closer to the head, just a little hamstring moment here. And again, feel free to, maybe you just move your leg very subtly from side to side. Certainly can feel a difference in the quality of the stretch if you move it slightly forward or back. Just be present with it. Notice how it might be shifting or changing. Finding its way through that sensation, just like an emotion, it finds its way through. All right, now both straps in the left hand, and we'll open the left leg out to the left. Again, it doesn't have to be the deepest variation of this. And when the leg goes out to the left, just a little external rotation for that foot. Notice if you're breathing, and if you're not, please breathe. And if you're, clenching your jaw or anything like that, try to relax your facial muscles, bring some breath and liveliness to yourself. And we'll bring that left leg through center, switch the straps into the right hand, and cross the leg over. Again, as long or as short a rein on the strap as it feels like is necessary for you in your body today. And breathing, hanging out with it. And then bringing that leg back to center. All right, we're going to step both feet up in the strap now. And slide your feet out wide into a V shape. So you have a strap in each hand, feet are out wide. And then press the edges of the feet out against the strap. So you start to engage the outer hips just a little bit. A little abduction, so pressing away from center into the strap with the edges of the feet. All right, and then release that. You're going to bring the feet back together. And this is where you're going to need a block. So go ahead and just do whatever you need to do to find a block. And with the straps around the feet, I'm going to widen my feet a little bit and stick a block between my feet with the strap around, and then take my legs back up. So once you get yourself situated, you have a block between your feet, hug the block with the inner edges of your feet strongly. So you get lots of adduction, really feel the legs working. Like you're trying to make an impression of your inner feet into the block. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Hugging, hugging, hugging. All right, now let's bend the knees. Take the block out. Step out of the strap. Now, let's just go ahead and cross your right ankle on top of your left knee, coming to just kind of a figure 4 setup for eye of the needle. We're not taking eye of the needle quite yet, but just cross your ankle lightly on top of your left knee, and then drop your legs over to the left so the outer left leg rests on the floor. See if you can rotate your right knee away from you a little bit. Keep your right foot active as you work in that hip just a little bit. And then bringing the legs back to center, slide your right knee tightly over your left knee, and then drop your legs over to the right. All the while, you're trying to keep your shoulder blades down. Just getting a fairly deep stretch, maybe some nice stretch, again, in that outer hip IT band area. And back to center. Uncross, lightly cross the left ankle on top of the right knee. And then take the legs over to the right. So rest that outer right leg on the floor if it'll go there. And then just rotate your left knee away from you to whatever extent feels doable. It may be 1/4 of an inch, maybe an inch or 2. Generally, we're all going to find some tight spots, and it's in the external rotators in that hip. A lot of stuff goes on, a lot of attachments. It's a very complex system. All right, now bringing the legs back to center, slide your left knee tightly over your right knee, and then take your legs over to the left. Be with that for a moment or two. Again, see if the shoulders can stay down on the floor. If you feel like your right shoulder is up in space, then just try to lift up the left side of the rib cage a little bit. turn your sternum a little bit to the right and set yourself back down and see if that doesn't help you get a little more evenly set in the back of the shoulders. And then coming back to center with the legs, uncross. Again, cross your right ankle on top of your left knee. This time we will take eye of the needle, so just go ahead and reach for the back of your left thigh. Spread your toes as you bring the legs just in a little bit toward you. Don't make this the, be all end all kind of hip opener position here. We're just introducing it into the mix. Just feeling into those legs a little bit. See how much you can root the sitting bones toward the floor, keeping the spine down as close to the floor as you can so that the buttocks aren't kind of lifted up or pointing up toward the ceiling. And then go ahead and release that. Let's just switch sides. Cross your left ankle on top of your right knee and go ahead and draw that right leg in. So spreading the toes, feet are active. See where you're feeling it. Where are you feeling that? Maybe you're feeling it in the hamstrings. I'm still feeling, like I said, a little bit of soreness from Tuesday. So breathing just another moment or two. Make sure, again, you're not clenching your teeth as you're doing a little bit of early hip work here. All right, and then go ahead and release, set the feet down. Let's roll over onto the side and come on up to a seat. So we're just gradually finding our way up. Have a seat for a moment. We're going to do a little bit of pranayama before we get up and do all of our lungy, yoga-y kind of things. So we're going to do a little bit of breath of fire here to bring a little bit more prana, life force, into the body. So we're going to take the arms straight out, thumbs pointed up. Make sure your shoulders are as relaxed as possible. That might mean you're happier with your arms slightly lower, right? So see where that works for you. And then we're going to do breath of fire in and out through the nose fairly rapidly. If you have some sinus stuff going on, you might not be doing it through the nose, but let's see how it goes. Here we go. All right, and release your breath of fire. Just let your hands rest on your legs. Relax your shoulders. And breathe fully and deeply. Big, deep, long inhales and exhales for a few rounds here. If it feels good to exhale through your mouth, feel free to do that. Okay, we're going to do a little tapping on the chest with your fingertips. So on either side of the sternum, kind of move toward the sternum, away from the sternum, toward the sternum, away from the sternum, up toward the clavicle. Keep breathing as you're doing this and just have this intention that you're releasing any energy. Maybe energy that doesn't belong to you. Maybe you're absorbing the collective energy. There's a lot of energy going on in the world right now. And, it will help us to have compassion for what everyone is feeling, but not take on everyone else's feelings, right? So doing this helps you to start to break up some of the energies that can kind of glom onto the heart space. All right, and then we'll stop tapping. Just inhale, take your arms up, turn the palms down, and then push energy from the front of your body, push it all the way down to the earth. Set your hands on the floor. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms come up. Pressing the palms down, just have the hands right in front of your body and especially close to the heart, so you gather up that loose energy and ground it. And one more time. Inhale, arms come up. Turn the palms down. Pull down any residual energy left over and bring it down, pressing your hands into the floor, and offer that energy back down to the earth. You might even draw an infinity symbol there. Okay. So put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of your left hand, and just have a moment where this gesture is truly one of self-love and compassion. Offering yourself just so much support as you're witnessing everything that may be happening in your personal life and certainly in the outer world. So just give yourself a little bit of love here. Feel how nice it is just to have that contact with the hands. Offering yourself some love. All right, and then we'll go ahead and release that. Come on up to standing. Now let's come up to the top of the mat. So let's see how this bit of warming up the legs in our supine positions, how this is serving us here. So just bring your hands to prayer position, bend your knees a little bit, and we're just going to step right back with the right foot into a lunge. So coming into a lunge, woo, legs, feeling into the legs. Now release, bring your hands down alongside of you. Pretend you have weights in your hands here, and scoot your back foot back an inch or 2. Just be in the legs. Now as you're here, root your left buttock underneath you as you're stretching the back thigh and hip flexors. Bring your hands back to prayer position and lean forward, and then step your back foot forward. Come on up to standing. Release the arms down. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Exhale, let's take a forward fold here between sides, bowing in. Feel free to have the legs as bent or straight as feels appropriate to you. Inhale, lengthen halfway for Ardha. And exhale and fold in. Let's come up to standing. Inhale, reach the arms out, up, and overhead. Bring the palms together in front of the heart. Bend your knees. Taking your weight to your right foot, step back into a lunge with your left foot. So finding your lunge here. It's like a crescent lunge, but we're not taking the arms up yet. Just really feel into those legs and release the arms to your sides. Pretend you have weights in your hands. What would that feel like? How would that root you down a little bit more deeply into the legs? Can you scoot your back foot back just an inch or 2? And then really wrap that right glute, where there's the right glute muscles underneath you a little bit. Trying to keep the back legs straight, because as soon as you start to engage those muscles and pull them underneath you, the back leg's probably going to want to bend. And then bring the hands to prayer, lean forward, bring your back foot forward, release the arms down. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Now take a hold of your left wrist and tip yourself over to the right, pulling on that left wrist. Engage your abdomen a little bit as you're doing this. And then back upright. Take a hold of your right wrist and tip yourself to your left. Pulling on the wrist, opening up the side ribs. Toning the abdomen. And back to center. Let's exhale back to forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward for Ardha. And exhale and fold in. Come back up to standing. Inhale, reach the arms out, up, and overhead, palms together. Slide your hands to heart center. All right, bend your knees. We're going to do the same thing again. Weight on the left foot, step your right foot back, coming back into your lunge legs. This time take the arms up alongside of the ears. So make it a full-on crescent lunge here. Pull the belly in and up. See if you can move your whole torso back. Have some tone in the belly. Maybe there's just a tiny bit of back bend that you add into this. Notice how you might be, if you're leaning back, you might be lifting up and out of that front leg. See if you can bend into the front leg more as you're tipping back into your back bend. Bring your hands to heart center. Tip forward, bring your back foot forward. Switch sides. Left foot back. Crescent lunge. Finding your pose. Nice and strong through that back leg. Toning and lifting up in the low belly. Pull your side ribs back. Pull your shoulders back. Is there room to tip back a little bit? And then bend into that front leg. And it may be, the answer is no. Maybe the answer is I'm going to stay upright. That certainly feels better to me. So go where it feels right to you. Now this time, go ahead and bring your hands to the floor and step to your first downward dog of the morning. We got pretty far in this class without a single down dog, right? So pull up and down in the feet a little bit as you feel your down dog here. Now widen your feet in your down dog. Spin your right foot down toward the right heel down toward the middle of the mat. So your right foot's turned out. Your right leg is straight. Now bend your left leg. Push your hands down and forward and lean your weight towards your right foot. Feel a stretch. Move up the outer leg into the hip. And then pick up your right heel. Spin your left heel down toward the midline. Foot turned out. Left leg straight. Bend your right leg. Push your hands down and forward and lean that weight onto that left foot as much as you can. And breathing. All right, and then pick up that left heel. Shift forward into a plank pose. I'm going to come down on my forearms. You can stay up on your arms if you would like. Just I'm happy with my wrist this way. So we're going to stay in a plank for a few moments here. And in your plank, pull the feet up towards your head and either your hands or your elbows back. So you engage your abdomen really strongly. And we're breathing. And we're planking. Now do the opposite. Press back through the feet and forward through the hands or the arms. Lengthen your spine, tone your belly. And then set your knees down and we'll come right into a Sphinx position here. So settle down into your chest. Pull back gently in your forearms, your shoulders, your hands. Trying to tip the bottom of the sternum forward and lift it a little bit. And then release, come on down. Rest your chin on your hands and pick your feet up. Just circle your feet around for a moment or so. And then drop the feet from side to side. Little loose reverse windshield wiping here. All right, legs back to the floor. Bring your hands alongside of your chest. Let's find our way back to downward facing dog. Keep those shoulders lifted through your process. And then come on up. Downward dog. All right, so keeping your hips square, lift your right leg, right toes point down toward the floor. Keep your shoulders nice and even so the arms are equally straight. Then set the right foot down, lift the left leg. Same thing, hips are square. Set your left foot down. Widen your feet a little bit, bend your knees. We're going to take a figure 4 in the legs. So cross that right ankle above the left knee. Bend your left leg and push your hands forward, moving your seat back. You might even scoot your hands back a little bit so you can get a little deeper in your figure 4. So a little bit more kind of eye of the needle, pigeony kind of shape here while we're strengthening the upper body as well. All right, and then we'll uncross. Other side. Bend the left leg, left ankle above the right knee, and then you bend your right leg and push your hands forward. Press your seat back. Lengthen the sides of the body and try to lift your sitting bones a little bit. I'm taking this kind of figure 4, pigeon-legged down dog. And then release. Set your left foot down. Lift your right leg again. This time bend the knee and open up through the hip, keeping that left shoulder lifted. And on your exhale, swing your right foot forward into a lunge. Set the back knee down. We'll scoot the right foot out to the right to find our way into a bit of a lizard pose. Now you could stay right here, or if you still have your block nearby, you can bring yourself down onto your forearms. Get a bit of a stretch here. Just letting the weight of the torso settle inside that front leg. And if you would like to take it on a third setting, maybe the block moves out of the way, or you just stay where you are. All right, let's walk the hands in and come on back up to down dog. Other side, let's lift the left leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip, keep the shoulders square to the floor. On your exhale, swing your left foot forward, find your lunge. Set your back knee down. We're going to walk the left foot out to the left to come into a lizard. So turn that foot open a little bit, keep the heel on the mat, but you can either just come right here onto the hands. Make sure you have enough distance between your front heel and your back knee so that you're already feeling some stretch in the front of your right thigh and hip flexors there. Then you can stay up. Or if you have a block, you can take your block down. Remember, you have 3 different settings on your block. You got your high, your medium, and your low. So take it where it feels like it's the appropriate height for you right now. Just for a couple more breaths here. And then you can either stay here for the next round or remove your block. See how that goes. If it doesn't go, install the block. Okay, lifting up. Walk your hands back in. Come back to downward facing dog. All right, let's shift forward, coming back into plank pose. And again, you can choose to stay here, arms fully extended, or come down to your forearms. We'll spend a little bit more time here. in your plank. Engage your abdomen. Pull those low belly muscles in and up. Try to relax your neck and your shoulders. I know it's hard to. There's a gentle rounding in the upper back. That's fine. But keep your belly toned. All right, and then set your knees down. Come down, rest your chin on your hands for a moment. Now, keeping your chin on your hands, make your thighs pretty much parallel to one another. We're going to lift the right leg up. Keep the left leg on the floor. So lifting that right leg up. Engage your glute muscles as you lift that leg. But try to press the pubis down toward the floor as you're lifting the right leg. And then set the right leg down. Lift your left leg. You don't want to lift the pelvis off of the floor. You want the pelvis to stay down. So don't try to lift your leg up so high and expose the hip and all of that. Try to keep your pelvis down as you're lifting that left leg. Engage your glutes. Root the pubis down. And then lower the left leg. Take the right arm out in front of you. Room here, right arm out in front. Left arm alongside of you, pointing the opposite direction. And you're going to lift your left leg, lift your chest, lift your arm. Now you're coming into a little bit more of a back bend with a similar pose. So lifting up. Keep the back leg long as you're here. And then switch sides. Take your left arm out in front, right arm alongside of you. Lift your right leg, lift your chest, lift your arms. Root the pubis down. Come down and give it a rest. Relax your back, relax your glutes. Okay, so rest your chin on your left hand and see if you can reach back for your right foot with your right hand coming into a thigh stretch here. Once you get a hold of your foot back there, try to parallel your thighs. Press the pubis down into the mat and press your foot back into your hand. See if that leg can lift up off of the floor while you have a hold of the foot. Pressing the pubis down. Lifting the leg up a little bit. And then bring the leg back down, set the thigh back on the floor, and then see if you can bring your right heel in a little bit closer to your outer hip. Keeping the thigh down. All right, now we'll release the right leg. Rest your chin now on your right hand and reach back for your left foot with your left hand. Parallel your thighs. Press the pubis down into the mat and then press the left foot back against the hand and try to lift your left thigh up off of the floor. Keep trying to press the pubis down into the mat. That's going to make it a little more challenging to lift that leg up. Lifting the leg until you feel a thigh stretch. All right, now bring the leg down, set the thigh on the floor, keep a hold of the foot, and then still while pressing the foot into the hand, can you bring the left heel in a little closer to the hip? Keep the thigh down. Just a slight rooting of the tailbone. Maybe even a little more rooting of the glute muscles a little bit. So you engage, especially on that left side, your glute muscles. All right, and then release the leg. Hands alongside of the chest, press up to tabletop. Now we're going to sit ourselves in 90-90 or deer pose. So go ahead and sit on your right hip and take your right thigh bone parallel to the long edge of your mat. Make your front leg then 90 degrees. So the shins parallel to the short end, the thighs parallel to the long edge, and then your back leg's about 90 degrees. Now turn yourself a little more squarely toward that front leg and then go ahead and come forward. So slide the right arm out to the right and then walk your left hand out in front of you as you drape yourself over that right leg. See where you land here. So see if you can be aware of the orientation of the front plane of your torso. Is your torso looking a little bit more to the left, underneath your left arm a little bit? If that's true, can you press down into your right arm and turn your torso more directly towards your front leg, or even slightly to the right, and then set yourself back down? Maybe the head even turns to look to the right a little bit as you come forward over the leg. And that might be a little bit much to bite off, so be gentle with yourself. You don't have to even have your head down, right? You don't even have to have the left arm up alongside of your head if you don't want to. Let's see what works for your body today. All right, and then walk the hands back in. And let's switch to the other side. So go ahead and have a seat on your left buttock, left thigh bone in line with the long edge of the mat. Right leg moves back, so you've got an obtuse angle between your thigh bones. Turn towards your left leg as best you can and then come forward. Slide that left arm out to the left and bring the right arm up alongside your head. Maybe the head's resting on the floor. Maybe you want to put your forehead up on a block. Or maybe you're just up on your forearms, right? So just wherever you're landing, it's perfectly fine. Now notice the orientation of the front plane of your body. Is it looking to the right? Can you lift it up, press down into that left arm a little bit, and turn your torso a little bit more to the left, draping over that leg? Maybe the head turns a little bit to the left. Even just a slight turn of the head, I can feel how much deeper that takes me into my hip. Some days that feels fine. Some days it feels like a little bit much. I'm kind of in between right now, so I'm going to turn slightly more toward the floor with my head. Are you breathing? All right, walk your hands back in and come on up to your seat. Okay. So taking your legs out in front of you. We still have our strap and our block somewhat nearby. So we're going to do a little bit of quick isometric work to kind of realign the SI stuff. So if you'll take your strap and make about an 18-inch loop, like 1.5 feet or so. No one's going to come by and measure it. So, something like that, right? And then make that loop and go ahead and step into it. Now, the position of the feet, I'll show this to you from this angle. You're going to have the inner edges of the big toe mounds and the heels are touching, but the outer edges of the feet are flaring open, right? So it's like a house of cards. You're leaning those things against one another. And then from here, we're going to lay down. have your feet in just somewhat closer to your bottom. So as you lay down, you end up a little further away from your feet. Pull your feet in towards yourself a little bit, but still keep that house of cards in the feet. Now we're going to press out against the strap, but we're going to set up the abdominals and the core strength as we do this so that we're getting the optimal amount of juice out of this pose. So start pressing the sitting bones down toward the floor. Really lift your lower back up. So you're arching, you're exaggerating the arch of the low back. Now press the inner edges of the feet into one another. Hug in big time with the feet. And then pull your low belly in and up so your low back gets a little closer to the floor. So you're trying to find a little bit more of a neutral position for the spine, but you're pushing the feet into one another and you're pressing your thighs out against the strap. So just hang out with this. Really breathe. You're going to engage those glutes and your abdomen big time as you're doing this. All right, and then relax all of it. Let it go. Just let your legs kind of rest against the hammock of the strap here. So we just abducted, abducted. Now we're going to adduct, adduct. So now slide that strap off of the legs. Then we're going to take the block, same position with the feet. Take the block horizontally between your thighs. And this time we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to press in with the legs against the block. So house of cards with the feet, sitting bones press down, exaggerate your arch in your back, pull the low belly in and up, and then really press the feet into one another. That's a key element of this. Press the feet into one another and then hug the block with your inner thighs and breathe. Pull, pull, pull up in the belly, strong. Keep those feet pressing into one another. And then release and take the block out. Take your legs down to the floor. Relax your legs. Just give your legs a little shake. It's a lot of muscular energy, so just shake them out. All right, let's bend the knees, roll to the side, come on back up to a seat here. Okay. Time flies when you're having fun, so let's have a seat again on a folded blanket. We'll do a little more pranayama here. So just take a moment as you have your seat, notice how you're feeling, especially in this whole pelvic girdle area here, like all the way around the pelvis. How's the low back feel? You've really brought a lot of movement and life force and muscular energy into these areas. Hopefully that just feels a little more alive and a little more supple. So just take a moment. A big part of our practice is the relationship that we have to anything. Well, what kind of relationship do you have with your lower back and your hips? And what I mean by that is, are you, when these things are saying, hey, I'm tight, I'm sore, I'm here, I'm going to show you this, do you respond with agitation? You know, do you have an adversarial relationship with these parts of yourself? So right now, at this particular moment, after having worked yourself in whatever ways you have, can you send some just love and compassion to your back, your thighs, your hips, these areas of the body? Remember, your body does not have an agenda to torture you. Your body is only ever doing the best that it can with what it's got to work with. And in that, can you hold a greater, deeper compassion for your body? Your body's not saying, yeah, I'm going to break down, I'm going to make you suffer. That is not what's going on in your body. Your body's like, oh, okay, I'm going to work with this. I've got this. Well, this is the amount of movement that I have. Oh, ooh, this makes me tight. So I'm attaching to that particular vertebrae. And it's just how it shows up in the body. There's no agenda. It's completely neutral. So send your back, your hips, your thighs as much love as you can right now. Appreciation for their service as this part of your physical vehicle. Now also recognizing that this particular part of the body is, especially as women, we can hold a lot of energy here, a lot of emotional energy here. You know, we certainly have had a lifetime of hormonal shifts and changes, whether we've bore children or not. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot that can be held here. So having deep love and compassion for yourself, just put both hands on your belly for a second. Let go of any judgment you have as your hands get placed on your belly, and simply appreciate. My God, the digestion. I mean, day in and day out, aren't we? We're eating stuff and moving it through. Thank you, body. Thank you, belly. This whole area, so much service, so much service. So we're just going to do a nice even breath here. If you would like to keep your hands on your belly, you can. If you would like to take your hands to your side ribs, you could do this as a way of trying to get some expanded breath, diaphragmatic breath, into the torso, kind of under the rib cage here. So wherever you want to have your hands is fine. Just take a big deep breath in to the lower belly. Move the breath up to the lower ribs. Move the breath up to the chest. Feeling the expansion in all the places, the belly, the side ribs, wherever you might have your hands, and then release it all. Breathe in again. And release it. Breathe in again, belly, low ribs, chest. And release it. All right, now we're going to do some Kapalabhati before we come down and take Shavasana. So much more percussive. It's like breath of fire, but it's slow. Not slow, but I mean slower. So you can be more percussive on the exhale as you contract your abdomen and push all the breath out. So you're breathing in and out through the nose. Again, if your sinuses are conducive to that. And just keep your hands resting on your knees or your thighs. And here we go. And then release it and breathe fully. Okay, so let's release the pranayama work, and we're gonna lie down for shavasana. I highly would recommend putting the legs up on something. If you have a coffee table, or you want to stack your bolster on top of your blocks, whatever you have nearby. And if you don't have any of that, but you're near a wall, maybe you get in close to the wall and put your legs up the wall. And one of the reasons, and again, this could be done bent knees over a chair or a coffee table, right? If you're going to a wall, just let your legs be straight. But this can sometimes be like the complete antidote to whatever is ailing in the back or the hips. Just by staying here long enough to let the weight of the legs settle down into the hip sockets so that the hip flexors can relax a little bit. You know, sometimes it's sitting that can really mess up the back and the functionality of all the stuff, you know. But it's often a required part of our work or whatever it is that we do. So we just have to provide an antidote as much as we can. So this is a nice one, just putting the legs up. Just make yourself aware of your breathing as you're lying here, just so that you don't forget and then hold your breath or stop breathing, as sometimes we do, right? When the mind gets going, just try to keep your attention in your breath. All right, so bring your awareness now back to your breath. If it's wandered from the breath, chances are pretty good it probably has. But come back to your breath, and if you do have your legs elevated, just gently find your way to roll to your side and find your way gently to a seat. So I send so much deep love and gratitude to all of my teachers. And thank you to each one of you for taking care of yourselves. And I hope that this practice today will just have you feeling great as you move about. All right, so thank you so much. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.